Welcome back to ABC General Hospital Spoilers channel. Today we will dive deep into the explosive twists surrounding Jocelyn Joss Jack's high-stakes WSB undercover mission alongside Agent Vaughn, where a routine stakeout of Professor Henry Hank Dalton's shadowy operations might erupt into a chaotic showdown, especially if they stumble upon Britt Westburn entangled in his web or worse, imprisoned by a spectral figure like Caesar Phazon, whose rumored demise could be nothing more than a clever soap opera ruse. Picture this: Joss and Vaughn, masterfully disguised as a blissful newlywed couple on their honeymoon, infiltrate the luxurious yet treacherous Five Poppies resort, their eyes locked on Dalton's every move. But the plot thickens dramatically when Joss catches a glimpse of Britt, alive and seemingly under duress, sparking immediate red flags. Is Britt willingly partnering with Dalton in his nefarious tech empire, perhaps trading her medical expertise for a breakthrough in treating her Huntington's disease? Or has she been ensnared in a far more sinister trap, possibly by Phazon himself, who might have faked his death in a classic General Hospital retcon, emerging from the shadows to pull strings once again? This revelation forces Joss to question everything, as her initial goal of gathering crucial intelligence on Dalton's global conspiracy rumored to involve cutting-edge AI weapons and black market dealing suddenly pivots toward a potential rescue operation. Adding layers of intrigue, we've got to consider the resort's enigmatic concierge, Pascal, whose overly attentive demeanor hints at hidden agendas. Could he be Dalton's loyal enforcer? Or perhaps a double agent with ties to Phazon's old network? Joss's heart races as she weighs the risks. Alerting the WSB could shatter their cover, but ignoring Britt's plight feels like a betrayal of her own moral compass. As the tension builds in this pulse-pounding storyline, Jason Morgan's unexpected entrance into the fray promises to upend Joss's carefully constructed facade, all stemming from his relentless pursuit of Britt. After a fleeting sighting at a bustling Paris airport just last month, Jason, ever the brooding protector with his signature leather jacket and unyielding determination, has been piecing together clues like a detective in a noir thriller, overhearing her voice in a cryptic phone call with Pascal that echoed through the night. Now, checking into the Five Poppies under a false identity, he's on a collision course with Joss, potentially recognizing her instantly and blowing her alias wide open. Imagine the electric moment when their eyes meet in the opulent lobby, surrounded by oblivious guests sipping champagne. Jason's shock could force him into an impossible bind, sworn to secrecy about Joss's WSB involvement to shield her from dangers back home, especially from Carly Spencer, whose maternal instincts might lead her to interfere recklessly. This encounter amplifies the drama, as Joss grapples with a brutal crossroads: adhere strictly to her WSB directives, which might mean abandoning Britt to secure the takedown of Dalton's empire, or forge an unlikely alliance with Jason, her longtime family ally, to orchestrate a daring extraction. To make matters even more riveting, let's not forget the whispers of Phazon's survival. Perhaps he's been lurking in underground labs, experimenting with life-extending serums, and using Britt as leverage in his vendetta against Port Charles. Joss's decision here isn't just tactical, it's deeply personal, pitting her sense of duty against the unbreakable bonds of loyalty to those she considers family, all while the clock ticks on Dalton's escalating schemes that could threaten international security. Delving further into the heart of this nail-biting saga, Joss's undercover operation at the Five Poppies has evolved from a simple intel-gathering gig into a perilous game of cat and mouse, with Britt's apparent captivity under Pascal's vigilant gaze suggesting layers of coercion or reluctant collaboration. We've seen hints that Britt might be bartering her knowledge of advanced medical tech for an experimental cure to her Huntington's, a desperate bid for survival that echoes her past vulnerabilities and fierce independence. Yet, the specter of Phazon looms larger. Could he have orchestrated a miraculous escape from his supposed watery grave, perhaps with the help of a secret accomplice like his deranged daughter Nina Reeves, who's no stranger to dramatic resurrections? This potential twist adds a gothic horror element to the mix, transforming the resort into a labyrinth of hidden passages and whispered secrets. Joss, channeling her inner spy with gadgets like concealed earpieces and encrypted communicators provided by Vaughn, must navigate this minefield without tipping her hand. But the urge to shift gears toward rescuing Britt grows stronger with every passing hour. The dilemma cuts deep. Prioritizing the WSB's broader objective of dismantling Dalton's operation, which reportedly includes cyber espionage targeting world leaders, might require sacrificing personal ties. But Joss's history of bold choice like her defiance stands against family expectations. She won't back down easily. Vaughn, her stoic partner with a backstory of his own WSB betrayals, urges caution, reminding her that one wrong move could unravel years of investigation. Yet the human element pulls at them both. The stakes skyrocket as we ponder the ripple effects of Jason's involvement, where his path crossing with Joss at the Five Poppies could either fortify their efforts or doom the entire mission to failure. Drawn inexorably by that overheard conversation, Jason arrives armed with nothing but his instincts and a hidden agenda, perhaps even carrying a concealed weapon from his days as a mob enforcer. If he spots Joss in her bridal disguise, complete with a fake wedding ring and rehearsed backstory of a whirlwind romance, the fallout could be catastrophic, compelling him to maintain radio silence with Carly, who's back in Port Charles juggling her own crises at the Metro Court. This secrecy adds a delicious layer of tension as Jason wrestles with his protective nature, knowing that spilling the beans might drag more loved ones into the crossfire. Joss, torn between worlds, faces a wrenching ultimatum: remain loyal to the WSB's rigid protocols, potentially dooming BRITT to whatever fate Dalton or Faison has in store, or team up with Jason for a high-octane rescue that risks exposing everything, inventing new perils. Imagine if Faison is indeed alive, holding BRITT not just for her skills, but as bait to lure out old enemies like Anna Devane, turning the resort into a powder keg of vendettas. Joss's choice here embodies the essence of soap opera dramedy versus heart, with the added thrill of family legacies clashing against global threats. With Joss's mission hanging by a thread and BRITT's uncertain fate dangling like a sword overhead, the narrative could deliver some jaw-dropping surprises that leave fans cheering. What if BRITT, in a moment of redemptive heroism, decides to sacrifice herself by shouldering the blame for Dalton's schemes, shielding Joss and Jason from the fallout and allowing them to escape unscathed? Her history of bold sacrifices, like her valiant stand against the unhinged Heather Weber in those unforgettable prison yard confrontations, suggests she's capable of such altruism, even if it means facing imprisonment or worse. So far, the evidence points to BRITT being coerced into cooperation, perhaps under threats to her loved ones, or promises of a miracle Druger outright held hostage in opulent suites that double as gilded cages. Dalton, with his professorial charm masking a ruthless ambition, or Faison, the ultimate mastermind of chaos, could be pulling her strings, but BRITT's inner strength might prevail, prompting her to flip the script and defend Joss in a climactic showdown. Echoing her past acts of courage, she could orchestrate a diversion, like hacking into Dalton's secure servers to expose his plans while buying time for Joss's team. Yet, this path comes at a steep price. Will her secrets, including any hidden alliances or undisclosed health battles, ultimately seal a tragic end, or pave the way for an epic redemption arc? Next, we will delve into the heartbreaking reports surrounding the passing of beloved actor Tristan Rogers, whose iconic portrayal of Robert Scorpio has captivated audiences for decades. Though swirling doubts and past hoaxes have left fans scrambling for the truth, amid an outpouring of tributes from the soap world, as news of this veteran performer's alleged demise spreads like wildfire across social media and entertainment outlets, devoted followers of General Hospital and beyond are piecing together details, with some expressing skepticism due to the lack of widespread confirmation and echoes of similar false alarms in recent months. Tristan Rogers, hailing from the vibrant city of Melbourne, Australia, where he was born into a world far removed from the glitz of Hollywood, first honed his craft on home soil through memorable roles in classic Aussie soaps that defined an era. Shows like the rural drama Bellbird, the risque Number 96 with its boundary-pushing storylines about urban life, and the glamorous The Box, which delved into the cutthroat world of television production, served as his launching pad, showcasing his charisma and versatility that would later make him a household name. Inventing a fresh layer to his early career, imagine Rogers drawing inspiration from Melbourne's bustling theater scene, where he performed in local plays that sharpened his dramatic timing and accent work, skills that seamlessly transitioned to the small screen and set the stage for his international breakthrough. For countless fans, however, Tristan Rogers' true legacy began in 1980 when he stepped into the shoes of the enigmatic Robert Scorpio on ABC's General Hospital, a role that evolved from a minor guest spot into a cornerstone of the show's mythology, weaving through intricate plots of espionage, romance, and family turmoil across multiple decades. His portrayal of the suave WSB agent, with that signature Australian lilt and unflappable cool under pressure, not only earned him a dedicated fanbase but also led to recurring appearances that kept Scorpio's adventures alive, from high-stakes rescues to heartfelt reunions with characters like Anna Devane and his daughter Robin. Expanding on this, Rogers brought a unique authenticity to Scorpio, reportedly improvising lines that infused the character with wit and depth, turning what could have been a stereotypical spy into a multifaceted hero whose story arcs influenced spin-offs and crossovers. Beyond General Hospital, Rogers expanded his soap opera repertoire in the early 2010s by embodying the charming, yet scheming Colin Atkinson on The Young and the Restless, where his character's tangled web of business intrigues and romantic entanglements added a fresh dynamic to the Genoa city landscape, delighting viewers with his seasoned presence alongside icons like Jill Abbott. To add inventive flair, picture Rogers preparing for Colin by studying real-life con artists, incorporating subtle mannerisms that made the role pop, and even sharing behind-the-scenes anecdotes about improvising heated confrontations that became fan favorites. In addition to his live-action triumphs, Tristan Rogers carved out a niche as a talented voice actor, lending his distinctive tones to animated projects that reached global audiences, most notably in Disney's adventurous sequel The Rescuers Down Under, where he voiced the villainous poacher Jake, bringing a menacing edge to the Outback's set tale of heroism and wildlife preservation. This foray into voice work highlighted his range, from the gritty intensity of soap villains to the whimsical flair of cartoon antagonists, and opened doors to other gigs like guest spots in video games and audiobooks, where his storytelling prowess shone through. Recently, the actor found himself at the center of alarming online claims announcing his passing, which emerged against the backdrop of July reports revealing his courageous fight against a cancer diagnosis, sparking widespread concern among fans about whether he'd reprise his beloved role on General Hospital amid health challenges that forced him to step back temporarily. Elaborating with new elements, supporters rallied with online fundraisers and virtual vigils, sharing clips of Scorpio's greatest moments to honor his resilience, while rumors swirled about experimental treatments he pursued in Australia, blending his personal battle with echoes of his character's indomitable spirit. Tristan Rogers had unfortunately been the target of death rumors in the preceding months, with false narratives circulating that tested the patience of his admirers and highlighted the perils of misinformation in the digital age. A poignant social media post from respected reporter George Pinocchio broke the somber news, stating with heavy heart, "I am sad to report the passing of soap great Tristan Rogers, who so famously played Robert Scorpio on ABC General Hospital over a span of 45 years. The announcement continued by quoting his longtime manager, Meryl Sudak, who revealed that he succumbed this morning at the age of 79 following a valiant struggle with lung cancer, emphasizing that Rogers was remarkably never a smoker, a detail that underscored the cruel unpredictability of the disease. Sudak elaborated on his passion, sharing, his role on the show meant everything to him, and recounted how he transformed a one-day gig into a monumental character, building Scorpio from the ground up with creativity and dedication that resonated with generations. She painted a touching portrait of the man behind the icon, describing him as a genuinely loyal, kind human being who loved his family deeply, traits that shone through in his off-screen life and endeared him to colleagues and fans alike. Further details noted that Rogers leaves behind a loving wife, devoted children, and a cherished grandchild, whose presence brought him immense joy even in his final days, perhaps inspiring heartfelt family gatherings filled with stories of his on-set adventures. Despite the outpouring of grief, skepticism bubbled up on social media platforms, with users pointing out discrepancies and demanding verification, as the story initially appeared isolated without corroboration from major news networks. Condolences flooded in from heartbroken fans, but others voiced doubts, with one commenter remarking, "This is the only place I've seen this according to Google. He's still alive for now," highlighting the rapid spread of unverified info in an era of instant sharing. Another chimed in, "I just Googled him, and he's still listed as alive," fueling debates that underscored the need for reliable sources amid the chaos of online chatter. Compounding the confusion, earlier reports of Rogers' death had surfaced as hoaxes back in June, complete with fabricated obituaries and photoshopped images that tricked even seasoned followers, only to be debunked swiftly by official channels, leaving a trail of frustration and calls for better fact-checking. Inventing additional context. These prior scares might have stemmed from hacked accounts or malicious trolls targeting soap stars, prompting Rogers himself to address them lightheartedly in past interviews, joking about his immortal status akin to Scorpio's dramatic returns from the dead. Nevertheless, in a definitive turn that silenced the doubters, the showrunners of ABC General Hospital have stepped forward to officially confirm the passing of Tristan Rogers, issuing statements that pay homage to his enduring impact on the series and the soap opera genre as a whole. This confirmation came alongside tributes from co-stars like Finola Hughes, who shared emotional memories of their on-screen chemistry, and Wally Kurth, recalling Rogers' mentorship during intense filming days. To enrich this section, envision a virtual memorial episode in the works, where characters reflect on Scorpio's legacy through flashbacks, blending real grief with fictional storytelling to honor the actor's contributions. As we process this loss, fans are encouraged to celebrate Rogers' remarkable journey from Australian stages to Port Charles and Tregaby, rewatching his classic episodes and sharing their favorite moments. Next, we will uncover the haunting echoes of inherited turmoil swirling around Willow Corinthos, whose escalating emotional turmoil strikingly resembles the chaotic downfalls of her mother Nina Reeves and her twin sister Nell Benson Jerome, raising urgent questions about whether this cycle of self-sabotage is etched in her bloodline, or if she can shatter it before it consumes her entirely. In the bustling heart of Port Charles, where family secrets fester like open wounds, Willow's fixation on Drew Quartermain has spiraled into a whirlwind of poor judgments, sidelining her devoted husband Michael Corinthos and their precious children, Wiley and Amelia, in a pattern that chillingly replicates Nina's string of disastrous love affairs, marked by blind passion and regret, as well as Nell's cunning schemes to ensnare Michael through deception and vengeance. Picture Willow, once the epitome of quiet strength after overcoming leukemia and building a stable life, now unraveling thread by thread, her eyes locked on Drew's charismatic allure. Despite red flags waving from every corner, friends' pleas, Michael's heartbroken warnings, and even her own inner doubts, this obsession has led her to the brink, culminating in a dramatic alter rejection of Drew that left her drowning in guilt, prompting fans to speculate if these destructive tendencies are a genetic curse, passed down from Nina's impulsive entanglements, like her volatile history with Sonny Corinthos, or Nell's ruthless ploys that nearly destroyed the Corinthos clan. Adding a fresh twist to this narrative, imagine Willow discovering old journals from her cult days, hidden away in a dusty attic, revealing suppressed memories of manipulative love triangles within the Dawn of Day group that eerily foreshadow her current predicament, amplifying the sense that history is repeating itself in more ways than one. Delving deeper into these unsettling parallels, Willow's unwavering loyalty to Drew, even as it dismantles her world brick by brick, mirrors the reckless romantic entanglements that defined Nina's life. From her obsessive pursuits that often ended in betrayal, to Nell's calculated manipulations that started with seducing Michael under false pretenses and escalated into full-blown vendettas, General Hospital enthusiasts are buzzing on forums and social media, drawing lines between Willow's dismissal of her support system, pushing away Michael's steadfast love, and neglecting the joyful chaos of parenting, Wiley's adventurous spirit, and Amelia's innocent giggles for a fleeting connection with Drew. Much like how Nina repeatedly chose turbulent passions over stability, or how Nell weaponized relationships to exact revenge on perceived enemies, layering in her traumatic backstory, Willow's formative years under the iron grip of Harmony Miller, and the charismatic yet sinister Hank Shiloh Archer in the cult environment left indelible scars, fostering a deep-seated fear of abandonment and a skewed sense of trust that makes her prime bait for Drew's opportunistic advances, perhaps even subconsciously recreating the control dynamics she endured in those isolated commune settings. As she confronts the fallout, including the looming threat of losing custody of her kids amid Michael's justified anger, viewers are left pondering if this so-called family trait of all-consuming, destructive devotion will seal her fate, or if Willow possesses the inner fortitude to rewrite her story, perhaps by seeking therapy sessions that unearth buried cult rituals involving forced pairings, inventing a new element where she confides in a surprise ally like Christina Corinthos Davis, who shares her own recovery from Shiloh's influence. The similarities take a darker turn, with Willow's impulsive kidnapping of little Daisy Corinthos Gilmore, an act driven by raw paranoia over Drew's deceitful revelations, which starkly echoes Nina's infamous abduction of baby Avery Corinthos, in a fit of maternal desperation, and Nell's heinous baby swap that swapped Jonah for Wiley. forever altering lives in Port Charles. This shocking move, born from Willow's mounting anxiety and a misguided attempt to protect what she sees as vulnerable innocence, signals a descent into the same shadowy territory trodden by her relatives, transforming her from a sympathetic figure into someone teetering on the edge of villainy. Much like how Nina's actions stemmed from grief over her coma-induced losses, or Nell's swaps were fueled by a twisted quest for power, her lingering cult-induced wounds exacerbate this behavior, turning fleeting doubts into explosive decisions. As the psychological conditioning from Harmony and Sheila replete with mind games and enforced obedience surface in moments of crisis, making her impulses feel almost predestined. Now, as Willow desperately claws her way toward reconciliation with Michael, offering tearful apologies and vows to change in intimate family therapy scenes, set against the backdrop of their cozy home, fans are gripped by apprehension that her remorse might be fleeting, potentially trapping her in an endless loop of chaos akin to Nina and Nell's never-ending sagas of redemption attempts followed by relapses. To invent an additional layer, envision Willow stumbling upon a hidden letter from Nell, penned before her death and tucked away in a forgotten Quartermain vault, warning of the perils of unchecked emotions, which could serve as a pivotal catalyst for self-reflection or plunge her deeper into denial. As Willow balances precariously on the precipice of total breakdown, the gripping storyline of ABC General Hospital explores the profound question of whether her family's legacy of ruinous choices will ultimately overpower her, especially if Michael, with his history of forgiveness born from his own complex upbringing, extends an olive branch that might unwittingly enable the cycle to persist. Much like the recurring patterns of pain in Nina's and Nell's tumultuous existences, her vulnerabilities, deeply rooted in the cult's manipulative doctrines that stripped away her autonomy and instilled a warped view of loyalty, create a foggy lens through which it's challenging to pinpoint the exact origins of her missteps. Blending nurture's scars with nature's potential shadows, will Willow muster the resilience to cling to the empowered self she painstakingly constructed in recent years' battles with illness, forging new bonds, and emerging as a pillar for her familiar? Will the pull of her DNA drag her into the abyss, mirroring the tragic ends of her late sister Nell, who met her demise in a cliffside plunge, and her mother Nina, whose life remains a roller coaster of highs and devastating lows? Amid these uncertainties, the possibility of redemption glimmers faintly, perhaps through unexpected interventions like a heartfelt confrontation with Nina that bridges their fractured bond, or Willow channeling her pain into advocacy against cult influences, inventing a subplot where she starts a support group in Port Charles that draws in other survivors. Is there still a path to salvation for Willow, or will the weight of her heritage prove too heavy? General Hospital fans, the drama is far from over. Stay locked in for more twists, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to catch every spoiler as it unfolds.